Hello everyone, today we are going to have a discussions on how to use a loop statement in PHP. Basically, a loop in PHP programming seems like a sequence of instructions that are needed to perform repetitions until a specified or certain conditions is met. In order to let you have a better understanding of this loop statement, let's explain the loop statement syntax. And the loop syntax look very simple. We have for, then followed by a bracket. Then inside this bracket we have three expressions. The first one I put a variable, and the first expression is an initializations. It is used to set is a counter initial value. Then next we go to the second one. The second expressions, which are used to specify the ending conditions, means that the first expressions is the beginnings of the loop, and the second expressions is the ending of the loop. The last ones, it seems like an actions to be performed for the loop, but basically we would use increments or decrement expressions. So now we go to the next slide. And so never mind, we assign integers value 1 for the first variable. Then so now we are telling the system that we are going to start the loop from integers value 1. Next we assign the second values, let's say less than 5. So based on these two values, we are probably know that the loop is going to start from 0, not 0, started from 1 to 4. Because this is less than 5, means that number 5 is not under considerations. So which means that loop will iterated at least 4 times. Then the last expressions is the actions to be taken on how the loop is going to perform. But in this case, I just use increment expressions, which you can straightforward put double plus signal. So then we go to next line. We echo, let's say loop variable and how many times. So now we go to the browser, we refresh it, so we get 4 outcome. Then so means that if the expressions is evaluated to be true, then go through the loop until the expression is false. Then end the loop. Which you notice that in this for loop statements, the outcome, we have 4 outcome, which is loop 1 times and 2, 3 and 4, but not 5, because here, as I mentioned earlier, we set less than 5. Okay, now we go to next slide again. We create another example. Okay, hold on. Sorry, I'm not getting confused. Okay, so we create another example for, and a variable equal to 1, then the condition I set it less than 5. Then the last one variable I use plus or equal to 2. Then we echo loop variable and how many times. Then we go to the browser and refresh it. So you see that in this case we use increments for each loop with 2 integers. So you see that. So that means the loop starting from 1, then we'll bring an increment with 2 integers. Means that 1 for the next loop would be 3. But since that you see the condition is less than 5, so that is no outcome for the following loop. We'll be ending in loop 3 times. So now we go to next slide again. For variable equal to 1, then equal to 10. So next this is comma, let's say. Variable equal to 10, or not, we just use less than 10. We use expressions which is n second variable. Sorry, this is supposed to be the second variable. Then second variable is more than 5. Then semicolon again. Then the last expressions, your variable plus plus, and the second variable we use plus or equal to 10. So now we set the first value is 1, then the next value is less than 10. Then the last actions to be performed for the loop is increment expressions. But now we're looking for the second variable. The second variable is the first expression is 10. Then we use ends, and the variable for the second expression is more than 5. Then we look for the last one is we use plus or equal to 10. So based on this loop statement, we notice that the first loop will be iterated from 1 and end with 9, because it's less than 10, so it's supposed to be 9 with increment expressions. Then for second variable, the loop will be iterated from 10 and end with 9, which has been specified in first loop. In this case, we are referring to the first variable, means that the loop for second variable is mainly depending on first loop statements. We use increments for each loop with 10 integers, and then the loop for the 2 different value would be iterated at the same times. Let's say echo we put number, then variables how many times, then second variable, so we go to browser again. So based on this outcome, we notice that we are actually have two variable and we are printing the two variable at the same times. So for the first variable, we would get the loop from 1, starting from 1 to 9, and for the second variable is starting from 10s and to 90, because we are using plus or equal to 10s. So for every loop, it will bring an additional 10s for the following loop. So now we go to the next slide again. So we are going to use loop statement to create a very simple multiplications table. So let's say we use a $number equal to 4, let's say, then the number equal more than or equal to 1, let's say. Then I use the expressions which is double minus. Okay, then inside this bracket I use 4 again. We create another variable which is number 1 equal to 4 also. Then our number 1 use more than or equal to the first variable. Then again use the double minus, we use decrements expressions, and we echo let's say number 1 multiple by number, then equal to number 1 multiple by number. So we will get the answer. Okay. Or never mind, we add one more with equal the outcome to next slide. And hold on. So I just simply put a bracket. Then I put a spacings. So you see that we will get this result. Or how to print it in next slide. Okay. So let's say we assign the value for first expression is 4, let's say, followed by less than or equal to 1. In this example, we use decrement expressions, which, like I mentioned earlier, we put double minus sign, double minus signs. Then from this simple statement, we have already noticed that we would get 4 outcome, which is in sequence from 4 to 1. But again, we write one more loop statement, which is number 1, so equal to 4, then followed by more than or equal to first variable. And also we use the decrement expressions. But now we look for this statement. We have assigned integers value of 4, but you see the second variable. We included first variable to set the decrements of loop for second variable. So now we echo this line. So we get this outcome is 4 multiplied by 4 equal to 16, and 4 multiplied by 3 equal to 12, and 3 multiplied by 3 equal to 9. So you probably will get this outcome. So we go to next slide again. We write 4. But in this this loop statement, we modify a little bit, and still we use number equal to 4. Numbers are more than or equal to 1. Number also we use decrement expressions. So inside this for statement, we have another for statement. Number 1s are equal to 1. Then our number 1s also, but this time we modify a little bit. We use less than or equal to number. I mean the first variable. Then we use the increment expressions, which is to write double sign to double sign. So next we echo number 1 times the number, then equal number 1 multiplied by number. Spacings. So now we check the browser again. Oh, there's some error here. So there is some mistake in this slide. Let's recheck with it. Number 1 multiplied by numbers that equal to store number 1 plus 1 bracket. Oh, this is not dollar size. So yeah, we got it. So we will get this outcome. You see the shape is slightly different. So in this outcome we get a decrement expressions, but if we use increment expressions, then we will get this outcome. So we go to another line again. For number 1, okay, let's say I put 1 less than or equal to so in loop statement it accepts continuous or break statements. So now I'm going to show you how we are going to use what is, let's call, continuous statement. So we're going to have an example. Let's say variable and equal to 1. Variable, in this case I use less than 10. Variable, we use increments expressions. Then we go to next line. Again we use if statement. If variable equal to 5, then I echo use continuous to jump out from loop 5, let's say. And echo again loop variable how many times. So it's based on the outcome. The continuous statements break 1 iterations, which is loop number 5, and continue with the text iterations with the loop, means that it's starting from 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now again we go to next slide. I have a screenshot. It means then images that I get it from online source. So now we're going to put this image to the loop statements. So for $, let's say picture equal to 1, then picture, let's say less than 5, and picture you increment expressions. So we go to next slide with echo variable, we put a dot we write the pathway or the source of the images, the source of image the source or screenshot PNG. So we go to browser and see the result. Oh, you can see how many Pikachu. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So these images still fall into this loop statements. So starting from 1 and end with 4 means that in this statement it shows less than 5, so we get 4 outcome. Means that we will get 4 images for Pikachus. But still we see the number 1, 2, 3, and 4. But actually it's not necessary we use the integers. Actually we can use others, I mean like alphabet. Let's see. So I think I just copy and paste. Let's say I change this to alphabet A, starting from A and less than let's say E. So we go to the browser and check again. Oh, there's some mistake here. Oh, okay. So you see that even though I changed the integers number value, I mean integers value 1 to A and 5 to E, so we still get the results. So we automatically, the loop will become A, and the next one will be B, C, D. So you still get the 4 outcome. And so now we are looking at another loop statements, so-called while statements. This is the most simple loop statements. Loop statements is used to execute a block of code repeatedly as long as the condition is true. And the conditions would be checked every time at the beginning of the loop. But this is very simple. Let's say we're going to have a variable 1, variable equal to 1. Then we use while bracket variable less than or equal to 5. Then echo loop variable how many times, then we add an increment expressions. So you will get this result. The loop will start from 1 and it will be iterated 5 times. So again, we go to the next slide, another example. So now we are going to use while statements to create a tables. So we have to use HTML echo So we write table, let's say border is we set it 1, width are at 100, let's say, then alignment center. Okay, we have should have a captions. Using while statement. Okay, so now we set the variable. Let's say variable equal to, let's say, 0, and while variable is less than 50, let's say, then we set a if statement. Then we echo then we add the increment expressions to this variable. If variables So now when you refresh the browser, you will see that you get a table which you see the number is starting from 0 and 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth until 49. So now we go to set another one. Just for saving time, so I just copy and paste, and I make a little bit modifications to the code. Let's say if again. We set a variable background color. Let's say yellow, or else pink color. So we echo background colors So there is some mistake here. So we get it. So we get the background colors. The first row is yellow color and the second row is pink color. Because we have already set it, you see that if the variable, they use the modulus expressions, then by 20 so equal to 0, then we're going to print yellow colors, and or else we're going to print the background color in pink colors. So again, we go to the next slide. Also, we need to create a table. So I just copy and paste. Then only I make a little bit modifications to this code. Okay, variable equal to 0 while variable less than 5, then we echo variable 1 equal to 0 while again variable 1 less than 10, then I echo variable 1. Then I use increment expressions. Okay, now we go to see in the browser. So we get this result. The first column is 0, the second is 1, and the third one is 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, so on and so forth. And do-while statements can be used to traverse set of code and execute at least one times. Even if the condition is false, then we'll continue to repeat the loop as long as the condition is true. So comparing with while statements, the main difference with while statements evaluate the code at the beginning, whereas do-while statements evaluate the conditions at the end of loop. So we're going to create another example. We set a variable like let's say lucky number, let's say equal to 4. Then we use the statement do. So now we set a code echo do while loop statement. Then I set the lucky number. Okay, done. Then I go to the while lucky number less than 9. Oh, don't forget to put the increment expressions. Okay, then to echo again. I understand the while loop statement. So we go to the browser, we refresh it. So we will see that the system will run, this loop statement will run at least once. Means that whatever code you put in this inside here will be executed no matter how. I mean, like no matter the condition is true or false, but will be executed at least one times. Then only we look for the Boolean conditions for the while statements, which is if false, then we end the loop. If true, then we begin the loop. So I just giving you some hints to learn about what is so-called loop statements, and hope you like it. If you like my video, please do not forget to subscribe and watch my video. Thank you a lot for watching. See you in the next video.